Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Well, today we're kicking off Season 7 of Creative Sound Lab. That's right, 7. I've been doing this for 7 years. The first season was in 2013. And really not a lot has changed. I'd really like to go back to my roots with Season 7. I'll still be doing gear review videos, but I really want to go back to doing more technique videos and really doing some fun and inspiring ideas. Now, one thing that I've always tried to stress is to kind of blur the line between the two worlds of recording and mixing. But I'm going to be kind of branching into mixing territory in Season 7. And I want to do it in kind of my own voice and my own style, and kind of true to the Creative Sound Lab way. I already have set up a reverb chamber, I have 2 spring reverbs, I have various other effects, and in general I want to try to be very hands-on as much as possible, be very active. Now, of course, we are going to feature some high-end outboard, some plugins, but I do want to use a lot of kind of the poor man's kind of gear that I have behind me. And with the help of in-out plugins like the Pipeline XT in Studio One, it's really, really amazing how cool it is and how simple it is to use outboard. For example, these 163X compressors, they sound actually pretty amazing. Like a kick drum, I put a kick through it, I'm like, wow, that's awesome, that sounds great. For 3 or 4 years, I struggled with how to compress a kick drum. This is one of those things that it had a very long learning curve for me when I was getting going, and if I just had the right tools, well, then I could have gotten results a lot faster. So we're going to be kind of blurring lots of lines between recording and mixing, between in the box and out of the box. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Today's video, we're going to be kicking it off with my DIY spring reverb. So I want to say a special thanks to my friend Dr. Dan James. He was part of the inspiration for this video. The other inspiration was the radio product called the Tank Driver. And I always wanted one of these tank drivers because it allows you the ins and outs to basically pipe something like a vocal into a guitar amp spring reverb chamber and receive it back in and use it in the DAW as a mix effect. So what you're doing is you're actually taking something that you already have. Maybe it's out of a broken guitar amp, maybe you just take it out of your guitar amp momentarily, but it's something that you have that you can use as a mix effect. Okay? We're just using stuff that we have around the studio, and we're getting actually pretty amazing sounds. Here's what it sounds like.
I'm seeking hope. It's where I choose to go. When the world around me has been nothing but scars. In the darkest night, the dawn will find me when I want to take flight.
So, it was basically a free effect. This spring reverb chamber, this tank, was actually just in a vacant 4x10 amp cabinet that was in my attic, and it's been up there for years, probably about 7 or 8 years, and it's never gotten any love. And I decided, you know what, I gotta try this. Okay, I gotta rig this up. And I mean, this cost nothing, really. I just rigged up some stuff that I already had, and it sounds pretty good. It's a little wonky, it's a little kind of weird. I could use some EQ, but this is not a piece of code in the computer. This is a real effect. This is a real spring that's actually vibrating right here. Yeah, it's crazy, So it's just really cool that this effect is tactile. It's something that I can actually hold my hand here and feel the vocal track going through the springs. Really cool. So we actually have 2 different springs going on here, and here's the one. And then on the input 16, I have the other. So So they sound a little different, right? Really cool. I want to show you how I have this hooked up. So I am sending a line level signal out of my interface through the Pipeline XT here, and it's going through the output 16. So it basically appears, this is an effect bus right here. So I have the vocal track. Where am I at? Here we go. So I have the vocal track, and I'm sending it to the effect bus here, and it's coming in, and as an effect, as a plugin basically, I have it going in and going out in a single box within the DAW. So it's going out via output 16. It's coming into this headphone amp. Out of this headphone amp, it goes through an EBTech line level converter, and that's probably an unnecessary step, but it gave me a little more volume out of this. The reason why I thought to use it is because I'm going from a balanced connection to the unbalanced connection of the RCA. And so I figured, well, I'll use transformers to get me there, and also see if I can use the -10 to +4 to kind of give me a boost. So that's probably not the way it's designed to do, but I'm going through the EBTech and then going into the spring reverb. And I'm driving it pretty hard. You know, about 75–80% of the way up on the headphone amp. Then it's going out of the spring reverb into the DI box, the DI box into a preamp, the preamp into a digital input on my interface, and that is input 16. Okay? So once again, out of 16 headphone amp into the EBTech for isolation, and also a little bit of boost from the transformers into the spring reverb via RCA, and then RCA out into the DI box because it's unbalanced, going to balanced of the preamp input. The preamp input goes to the line level. And that's our signal chain.
So many rooms to choose. Can take a step backwards, but there's not. No one can buy me. When I see it's a fake, I close the door and it's a face.
Yeah, so we can hear that I can actually overdrive the spring reverb, which is pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what's being overdriven here, but I can just ramp it up and I get an overdrive. It's really cool.
'Cause in every moment, you got a decision to say death or to listen.
I mean, isn't that great? I mean, this was literally junk in my attic that's making this sound. Okay? I'm using a headphone amp, I'm boosting it via transformers, I'm piping it through, I'm using a DI box to get it back in. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So, definitely worth trying. I mean, this is just really cool. Now, one cool thing, because this is open, is I just have some string from an old keychain here. Let's see here. Do I have any loose? Ah, here we go. And we can actually tune the spring reverb.
Not what I'll do.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. It's more of a darker sound, obviously, but we could really fine-tune this to get a sound. And of course, you know, with just about all the DAWs now, they have an IR creator or an IR maker, and so you can actually play a sweep tone through any effects that you create, and to the most part, save that sound. It's obviously cooler to do it kind of in real time like this and be very hands-on, but if you find something that's really cool, it's worth trying to maybe create an IR doing it and sweep a tone through it and then save it as a preset. You can use it for any sort of convulsion, reverb, you know, IR player kind of thing. But yeah, really cool, right? Okay, so now let's kick this up a notch and let's take off the string. And what I did is wired up in stereo. So I originally didn't have the cabling to do it. I made a few more cables overnight, and now we have it in stereo. This is really cool. Now for this, I have a different pipeline, and here we go. It's the 16 out, and then it's 15/16 in. So here it is in stereo.
I'll make each day a little better. No need to wait on the weather, 'cause I am part of a higher mind. Ooh.
So, I mean, yeah, you could do reverb drops, you know, like the kind of the dub reggae thing where they pick up the device and drop it. But again, that's just kind of proof that, like, hey, this is actually making this sound. It's crazy how good it is. It's a little funky on its own. I mean, it's not as smooth as like the Lexicon, you know, plugins and stuff like the 224 and, you know, the real high-end stuff. But I mean, this is like a real effect. You know, I mean, this sounds pretty cool.
Vision to a higher mind, a higher mind, a higher mind, a higher mind. These reactions are hallway. So many rooms to choose. Take a step back, but there's not what I'll do.
So I can use the input level to kind of throttle the levels. I also could do that at the preamp too, but this is just kind of the easiest thing to reach for. And with that, I can kind of fine tune the balance between the left and right.
No one can buy me when I see it's a fake.
I mean, seriously, that sounds really good. And this costs the computer nothing, right? Reverbs are like the most CPU intense type of plugin. I mean, they'll load your computer down in a hurry. And I'm doing something that I just whipped together with junk that I had, and this thing sounds great. So if you want an IR of this effect, I'll be sending the IR out to all my email list subscribers. If you'd like to get in on that action, you can sign up for my mailing list via the link in the upper right of the screen. A lot of different DAWs will have some sort of IR player or a reverb that uses the IR. So if you want to download that, it'll be a free download for anybody on my mailing list. Okay, so I'd love to know what you think of this episode. I have a few more tricks up my sleeve, even in this song that I didn't quite mention yet. So I'll see you in the next video coming very soon. But I'd love to know what you think of this week's episode, first episode of Season 7. Happy to be back with you guys. Be talking to you soon in the comments.